Welcome to the Awakening Spiritual Gifts Show. So happy to be here, as always. We've got some fun things today. We've got a couple people that have messaged in that I'm going to touch on first. And while I'm answering some of those, you guys are welcome to leave comments and questions that we can get to. Again, this show, the whole purpose of this show is just a reminder. It's not to like show off and be like, hey, look how amazing I am, because that's not that it took me a long time to even get the courage up to do this show. Really, this show is all about helping you, helping to bring awareness to our gifts and our intuitive abilities and our spiritual senses, and how to speak the language that each our own unique language that we have. And so I'm happy to share, and I love to see how it helps others. So please leave your comments, leave your questions. Also, too, if it's made a difference for you in your life, like I would love to hear that too. And like, go ahead and comment that. And just share with us, because we're all in this life journey together, right? So I didn't quite look well. If you've been watching for a while, you've known that I've been doing a lot of these daily energy read, and I kind of mixed it up a little bit yesterday. I just kind of followed intuition, and I was like, you know what, we're not going to do a daily energy read yesterday. And then today I was like, okay, do I do it the same way today? And I was like, no, we're going to mix it up a little bit again today. So I'm really curious. If you've watched this before, I would love to get your feedback. Do you prefer just the old way of just like, here's a daily energy read? Or do you like how I mix it up and just kind of like intuitively, like today's a day for that message and today's not, and today's something different? Like, I want to know which you like better. So what it is today, it was kind of this little combined, instead of just sharing the energy and what I'm seeing, instead I looked at it a little bit beforehand, and I just extrapolated the message from the energy. So I'm going to share with you the message that came through based on the energy that I saw, instead of describing the energy. So let me know how you like it. Okay, so the strong message that came in today was that if you have been praying or asking for something, to know that today is a day that you are going to be receiving. There's like a whole plethora, like an abundance of these little gold nuggets and gifts that are pouring down from heaven today. And it's just like, I just see these like little gold, little packages, these little nuggets just pouring down to people. And it's just easily dispersed. There were some messages here that it was, that even if, like, let's say you've been really praying for a big miracle, like definitely don't lose faith, don't lose hope. Know that even if you just have a little golden nugget show up today and not the big giant miracle that you've been looking for, just to know that the little, just to know that that gold nugget is still part of your miracle and part of your faith experience that you're receiving. The other part of the message that I got was to look for these little gifts and these little gold nuggets. I just want to call them heaven's gold nuggets. Go ahead and look for them today. See where they are appearing. They're going to be all different kinds of shapes and sizes and forms, but to look for the evidence of God's golden nuggets that are going to be appearing in your life. They can be answers to prayers. They can just be surprise little things. And the purpose of these, and this is kind of the phrasing that I heard when I asked about it, it said, and this just really felt like it was almost that these gold nuggets are from God for each of us, and they are for the purpose to give thee aid, to bring thee comfort, to strengthen thy resolve, to love thyself and others more, and to feel and to receive of my love. That felt like a message from God to each of us today. I'm going to repeat that one more time. That the purpose is to give thee aid, so to give thee aid to help you, to bring thee comfort, to strengthen thy resolve, like keep going, like you got this, you can do this, to love thyself and others more, and to feel and receive of my love. So beautiful message with that today. So I love that. So let me know what you think of that in the questions. Yeah, it was a beautiful message. I loved it. I was like, oh, I love that. It was just like, and it's just raining, kind of pouring down on all of us today. So beautiful, beautiful. So lean into it and look for them because they're already coming. It's not even that you have to even ask or go beg. I mean, if you have been praying for something, they're going to be appearing, but it's going to be for all of us. So definitely pray and look for the ones that are even just going to show up. So good. Good. Yeah. And also too, just as we're getting started here today, once again, like I would love to just ask for, like, please share this. You could tag someone, post it in a group, share it with a friend in a private message or something. Like, let's just get this message out far and wide. When each of us strengthen our gifts, strengthen our gifts, it benefits us as a whole. And that really is, such a true thing. Cause it's like, we each bring our own gift and our own, like if we're building up, like for me, like kind of my visual here is I'm helping to build the kingdom of God. And maybe I show up with a hammer and somebody else shows up with some nails. Someone else shows up with some wood. Someone else has got the snack and the lunches in the back. And someone else has, the water. And like, we've all got our pieces and our gifts and our things. And it's all part of the whole for what we are building, what we are creating, what we are doing, and what we are bringing to this earth. So the more that we share this, the more that it just strengthens that and expands the light upon this planet. So thank you for doing that. All right, we're going to go to first. I had one message in, and I'm going to just touch on this one first. I love this. Welcome. This is for Shanna. And this is such a great question. She said that she's always known that she was a little different and even considered a little odd, just because she just knows things. And so clearly she's got some claircognizant as one of her dominant spiritual senses. So she just knows things. She doesn't know how she knows. That's always the key phrase there when I bump into somebody who has claircognizant really strongly, because I just know things. Or when somebody says something to them and they're like, oh, I already knew that. But wait, how did I know that? It's like it's inherent knowing. It's pretty cool. And then some have even called her a witch by her closest and bestest, and by some close people close to her. I don't feel like I am, but I really don't know. So I'm excited through this because we're going to have a little bit of a conversation about that. And then she's just kind of asking a general reading. So I'm going to do a general reading, but then I'm also going to touch on that whole phrasing of witch. Okay. So I really do believe that, there is, and you guys, I mean, you can see this everywhere. Like, God gives us some amazing tools and gifts and things on this earth. And then you've got these like Satan counterfeit things where it can be, like some of it can even be good, but then it can just be tweaked a little bit. The phrasing of witch, I know that's been, there's a lot of, it's kind of interesting because the term itself gets thrown around in multiple ways. So you've got some that call themselves a witch, just kind of as a lighthearted way, and it refers to just this, feeling more just like a universal connection to earth and connection to things. Then you've also got the darker intentions of even some claiming to be witch, and they intentionally try to create things and do things with either a darker intention and this is why this key piece right here is why I am so adamant and try to really, really enforce the whole agency thing, is because when you do any type of anything and you with this work or speaking about a person or looking at this stuff and you do it without a person's permission, then it tweaks the energy and it actually can become a type of witchcraft based on that tweaking. So this is not something we talk about a lot, but it absolutely can happen. I've seen energies from very well-intentioned, well-meaning people that love that, like love God and want to do good things, but then they do things a little twisty, and that energy can be like a counterfeit for it and become more like a witchcraft in the darker sense. So if someone, and then also too, like a lot of times just the phrase witch can be a label of like of a mean dark nature, and then obviously too, like she's had people call her a witch. I have people sometimes call me like, oh, you're my witch doctor, and I'm like, please don't use that phrasing, because that's not what I'm doing. I'm really just trying to be like an honest, genuine conduit of like Lord, please tell me what to say and what to see and how to help people. Like I'm constantly trying to do that. And so when that phrase is there, it just kind of shifts my intention. Like it makes my intention sound different than it is. And so so just, it's kind of like that term just gets thrown around in like a lighthearted way, or some people call themselves that and they're meaning it in more like earth type. And then also there is the actual darker type witchcraft. Now, something very, very, another interesting fact about, I can't believe I'm going into all of this today. So here we go. We're going deep. All right. I've not talked about this on such a public format before, but this was something that was taught to me, and it was kind of an interesting thing. So here I go. We're going to talk about curses. So there's different kinds of curses, and there's just one type that I'm going to talk about right now. And this is to just really encourage people to be very mindful of their languaging and the words that they use. Okay. So like even in scriptures and stuff, we're told not to gossip and idle speech and some of those types of things. And so I want to share an experience. So a couple years ago, or a few years ago even, I was sitting with some friends, and I was sharing something like with the energy that I was looking at something. And then a particular person got brought into the conversation. Now, this person, I knew that they had engaged in some behaviors that were not like quite great. and they were talking about things, and I just was sharing some things that were not, I didn't think it was gossip, because I wasn't talking about anything that wasn't true. It wasn't talking about anything that the very person themselves had not actually openly expressed. Okay. So it was just well-known information, and I was talking about it. And then all of a sudden, then I went back to looking, trying to see light with my eyes, and I was looking, trying to see something, and my gifts went away. And I couldn't see for a minute. And I was like, okay, that's my sign. I've known long enough that if there's something that doesn't quite work, then there's something that I've not been aligned with, and I've got to do a quick repentance. Now, the term repentance to me is a joyful word. Once I did the research on what the core root word meant, and it actually just means turn your gaze back to Christ. Like just look to God, look back to God. So I was like, well, I got to do some kind of quick repentance. I was like, luckily they were good enough friends. I said, hold on just a minute. And I said, just a minute. And I just kind of like sat there, and I'm like eating at a restaurant, but I still just was saying a quick prayer and a repentance and being like, I'm so sorry that I spoke something that I didn't even know was going to be harmful for someone. And there was like an instruction, and it was like, okay, yeah, you're forgiven. And then I was taught this lesson that said, when you speak of things like that about a person, even if they wanted to change, your words are binding around them and possibly preventing them from growing and changing the way that they would want to, or the way that they're trying to. Like you're going to make it harder for them, because your words create. And so you got to be careful with your words, because it can bind up and it can create things from happening. So yes, even somebody gossiping about someone else is creating curses. Or if you're upset and you're constantly complaining about somebody's behavior, guess what? It's that easy to curse a person and to create these energetic binds around them. So be careful with your words. Be careful what you are choosing to create in your life. If you've got children, spouse, friends, people that you see, if you're seeking and you're wanting to see this up leveling of growth, then speak of them in a way that encourages that growth. Speak about yourself. Do you curse yourself too? Like speak about yourself in terms that create and uplift as well. And so, anyway, I don't know why I'm sharing all that today, but I feel like that was a message that was super important for us to really touch on and to be very aligned with our languaging. I love that. Actually, Carissa, I do teach on this, and that is a class that I'm going to be re-recording. So yes, I love this. I'm just looking at this. There needs to be a class on this. Yes, there does. There, if people have been to my events or they've heard me speak, I've talked about this a lot, but it's not something like in a public forum. I've never done this like publicly for everyone, but it is so important. It is that easy. And sometimes the word curse, it's interesting how people freak out a little bit when like, there's a curse. What happened? Like it's only these dark, evil curses. Curses can happen, yes, the dark, evil way, but there can also be easy ones that you just accidentally do. And so, and accidentally do it to ourselves and others. Like it's important for us to align our words and the things that we're doing. So anyway, so that's kind of I was excited to talk about that. I went a little bit deeper than I thought with Shanna's question. And like Shanna, just basically with your general read, just back to that, I just want to say that like, I feel like just giving you some encouragement. I do see that you have strong gifts and abilities. I see that claircognizant very strongly. It looks like a very open channel that things can just pop in. I can also see that if it is I feel like to make sure to let you know, don't fear it. Don't try to shy away from it or judge it to be bad, because the moment that you do, any of those doubt energies can actually cloud it and become darker. So hiccup. But especially like try to just be really super aligned so that you know that that's a pure conduit, and then you can just boldly be a voice for God and to be able to be that. I also feel like it is also connected, like I mentioned, voice. It does feel like it comes out, like it pops into your head, and then there's something about it for you to share. In the Bible, it's, or like in this, when it talks about spiritual gifts, there are such things as things like gift of prophecy, gift of revelation, like those types of things. And that comes from a lot of that, like knowing and out your mouth, just being that open conduit. So the only way to truly be able to use that to its highest ability is to make sure that that's a very pure channel and not to judge it or cloud it with any kind of doubt or fear. And then obviously just strengthen that. Also too, I see that you do have some gifts with your heart, but it's also connected with your eyes. It's like you do have some abilities to see the struggles of people, or to see how to help people, how to make things better. And so it's like, it can come out your mouth and you can like feel it, and it, like you see what can help. So it's kind of that cool bunch of balance there. So anyway, I'm excited to hear how that resonates for you. And let's go to some of these, let's go to some of the questions today. And then if I can get to these ones, then I can go to, I've got another one that rolled in, or on my emailed ones. So, okay, let's see here. All right, thank you for the comments, everybody. Oh, thank you for tagging friends. I see it. Oh, I love it. Perfect for today's message. Thank you. Yeah, it was a good one. These are all good reminders too. Like even as I'm saying it, it's like, all of the things that we try to improve and do in our life, like there's never just a light switch, like poof, the end, I'm done, I'm perfect, I do it all 100%. It's just a progression, such an experience, and such a learning. Like I thought I just like not gossiped about people. I don't enjoy talking negative about people. I've done that for decades or so. Like I've really been intentional about that, but I accidentally did. So things can happen. Let's see. Oh, that's cool, Mitchell. All right, let's see here. Let's go to, all right, we just got a few general readings today. So this is really beautiful. Okay, Amber, let's go to you. And general read. Let me see here. Whoa, first and foremost, girl, you got lots going on in that heart. It was like, woo, well, just very full. Lots of emotions in there. let's see here. It's almost like a whole little variety of emotions that I'm seeing here. So, and it's like some of it is even coming up out of the mouth. So there's some emotions that are making you want to cry, and they're just like coming up, almost choking you off because of the crying, and you're trying not to cry about something that is making you cry. And then also on the flip side too, I also see this expansive amount of like gratitude and love. And I really feel like you've just done a really good job about just trying to be super aligned and have like find the good in things, a lot of like connection. Like I'm seeing a lot of like prayerful energy. And so you are leaning into that gratitude. And so there's some good, really good things too, that are expanding your heart in a good way. So it's like these two polarities are existing simultaneously, which is such like a principle of life. Like that is just a universal law, like the law of opposition, the law of polarity, like there's these opposites in all things. And so sometimes the greater the pain, the greater the joy and greater the sweetness. And in fact, I mean, like that was, oh goodness, that was like even in a dream I had the other day. It felt like a very like intentional, like dream, like Martina, pay attention. There's all these lessons in it. And I had this person that exuded joy in their life, but they passed away and they were in my dream. And I remember asking them, how do you find joy? And they answered, through pain. And I was like, oh, I want joy. I want happiness. I want this. Yay. And I was like, yeah, you find it through pain. And I really kind of pondered some of that and what that message means. And it's like, yeah, some of those, like the happiness can be fleeting moments, but a joy is such a lasting, eternal, deep place that no matter what happens in life, you can still have joy. And that's something that's definitely something you got to learn and work through. It's not something that comes easily, but it can definitely be worth it. And I think too that Amber, you've done a really good job about leaning into the true source to finding some of your joy. I can see like all these beautiful, the gold, like I just see you really reaching out. I bet your spiritual relationship, like your relationship with God, has really been strengthened through some of whatever the challenges are. And it's really grown your spiritual capacity to a higher level. And I see that work and I see that effort on your part. And even though, things might not be instantly gone now, that joy and that peace is coming. It's like inevitable when you're growing that heart. It's like when it's growing to that capacity. I can only imagine how the Lord must love. And like I'm thinking of, in fact, there's such beautiful imagery here on Easter. It's Easter this weekend. How much the Lord loved each of us, and then He paid so much, paid such a price for each of us. So it was the ultimate pain because He has the ultimate love, and it's like some of that experience. So just want to send you love on that. That's a lot of big energies, but it is definitely, it's like making you level up in some beautiful ways. Okay, so Bonnie Lee, let's go to you, my dear. Okay, let's see. I love a general reading. I feel like something's happening to me and not sure what. Well, that makes me curious. I'm like, something's happening to you. Let's find out. What is this? So something's happening to you. I'd love more information about that. Like describe what is happening to you. Is this like emotionally? Is this energetically? Are you feeling just like gifts opening up? Is it just like totally unknown? You're just like, you feel it in the background. I'd be really curious. So go ahead and comment if you wouldn't mind. I'd love more info. And then let's just look at some of your basic general reading here and see what's going on. Oh, okay. Let's see here. Hold on, I'm drawing it. There's a lot of little energies going on. I have to draw this. You guys, I really should show you my drawings sometimes. You guys would probably laugh. They don't really make a lot of sense. I actually have markers that I use a lot of times if I need to see the different color strands and direction. And I'll draw like I do drawings and stuff for clients if I'm trying to illustrate something. Okay, so let me see here. Okay, yep, I'm kind of seeing this. Okay, lethargic, really bad migraine, and yesterday dizzy. Okay, so first and foremost, finally, one of the energies that I saw was, I'm gonna put your little question back up and do this so you can see me. Okay. All right. So one of the first things I saw was right here. Oh, actually, I'm gonna hide it. Never mind. So you can see what I'm doing. So one of the first things I saw was like around your heart, big giant spiral energy. It's like a generator coming up. And then I could see it was just like electrical things that coming out down through your hands. Just felt like this energy is expanding out of you. It's creating just like a higher vibrational frequency there. And so, and then it's affecting things like I could see it affecting down in your creation center, like your reproductive area, which sometimes that is also very symbolic of other creation type energy. So I almost want to ask you, like, what creations do you have? What creative things have you not been expressing lately? Like, do you draw? Do you write? Do you build something? Do you like what kind of creative outlet do you have? Because it feels like that is amping up as well. So it's like your heart, the desires of your heart, your creation things, and then the way it's coming through your hands, it just tells me there's something that's going to be moving through you. And then also, this is kind of cool, but I can feel how this would be a little bit intense for you. I can hear going through some of these symptoms here. I could see how those would be the case, but I'm seeing the energies almost coming up, and it's like kind of shooting out the crown of your head and like the top of your head, and it's like your eyes and your mouth. You're just kind of like, oh. Have you ever seen Avatar, like the kids cartoon where all of a sudden he goes into Avatar state and it's like, like, and it just has all this light coming out? It kind of looks like that. So, and it didn't feel very, very voluntary. It just felt like some things are going on in your system and you're just leveling up. So, I would possibly look at some of those things that I've said, like what is there something you're supposed to be creating or doing or expressing that could possibly help alleviate the intensity of it? Also too, I would I feel like this coming out through you here, I would find some way to capture that. Okay, so I'm not necessarily an artist, but there's sometimes things like I'm getting waking visions and visuals, and I feel pressure in my forehead, like it feels like an image or a visuals being shoved into my forehead. So it hurts. It's like I'm like, oh, and I get a headache if I don't pay attention. It'll just be like shoving into my head, shoving, shoving, shoving until I'm like, okay, what is it? And I'll get like a big whiteboard or a big paper, or that's I'm always having a notebook with pens and colors and stuff, because when I get it out, it makes it better. And so I feel like you're getting information shoved in through you and you got to get something out to know. So if you're not super artistic, don't worry about it. Grab some crayons, grab some markers, grab some paper. Maybe there's words that are going to come out. Maybe there's just pictures. Maybe there's colors. Maybe there's swirls and shapes and whatever. Like, don't judge it. Just let it come out, because once it comes out, then you can start to analyze it. I remember one of the very first like huge visions that I had of like teaching. It was like I ended up, that's why I love galaxies. I was being shown like a galaxy and patterns of creation. It was so complex, but I didn't know what it was. It took me 2 weeks of pain before I finally drew it. And then it took me more weeks to even figure out what it was that I drew. And it took me like probably a month and a half before I finally was scrolling through the Hubble telescope images and finally found a galaxy that I was like, that's what I saw. It was a specific NZ325X. I mean, it was like not even named. It was some random galaxy, but that was the same image that I saw. It took me weeks and weeks, but I had to get it out first. I had to draw it. I had to try to feel it. What is this? Why is this coming? So I would just start seeing if you can get some things out and see if it alleviates some of the intensity. That is often a symptom too. If you have gifts that are amping, like really amping up, they get a little intense before you understand them. So just kind of a heads up on that. So great question. Thanks for asking it. All right. Let's go to Okay, let's see if we can address these last two. I've got Laura and Vicky I'm going to try to get to here. Okay, Laura, let's look at this. Do you see a root cause for my depression? I've addressed the nutritional part, bit lost how to address it now or how to manage it. Yeah, let me look at that really fast and see if there's any clues for you to help navigate that, because that is no fun. Okay, let's see here. Okay, a clue that I would recommend maybe just doing a little bit of work and journaling on it, kind of pondering on what this could be. And what it is here is, so like when I'm looking at it, I see like the kind of a dark little energy come through the head, and it's just this kind of waving through and kind of pushing down on you a little bit. And the way that it's coming down through the brain and then even in through the eyes, it's kind of hinting or kind of showing me that it's possibly something about, maybe you believe there's some subconscious beliefs or some things that are coming down, making you think or believe that something has to look a certain way. So you have to look a certain way, or the results that you want to see in your life have to look a certain way. And so there's a little bit of self-worth tied into results or image, or how you, like how good you're being. I feel like there's that good girl kind of thing. Like if I just try to be a good girl, and then if you're not perfect, then it feels like you're not a good girl and bad girl. And so it feels like there's a lot with that. I also feel, in fact, I just felt like I also just want to mention this too for anyone watching, because this is a very common thing for us. But like in our intuition gym, so the intuitiongym.com, join that. So that's our membership area. But there's a specific class in there where like I go through like understanding who we are without being attached to those things was like the number one life-changing thing for me. And I go in to like a very kind of a deeper process about what that meant, and then how it took years to kind of unravel some of those beliefs, and there's some activities and stuff with it. So if you have any interest in that, like we've got this gym, it's so awesome. And you guys, it's only like $33 a month, or you can prepay for a year and get a couple months free. But anyway, so back to yours. So, but what it is, and it's kind of along those same lines, it's like exactly what's in that class, ironically. But it's just so connected to just like some of those beliefs on how things should be or should look, that kind of weigh you down, because maybe you've got an expectation or an image of something that you want to hold yourself to up here, and you feel like you're only doing your best and you're only able to reach here. Now, there's also some other elements here that I'm seeing that are not all you. I actually can see the way it's coming far back tells me also too that there's some generational components. So this comes through like parents, grandparents, coming back some of those generations where it's like very well-meaning, lovely ancestors that want to send, that are just trying to raise their children right and make them choose the right and do the good thing. But they unintentionally created some of these belief patterns that it has to look a certain way, or you're not good, or you're being bad, or, and society has changed, 50 years ago, 100 years ago, 200 years ago. I mean, think about how things have changed. And there was just like, I almost want to say bless their hearts, like they didn't know any better, but it was just like, this is the way our society works. These are what's best. And it was like kind of refining in a way, or not refining, confining, like confined in a way. And so then these generations now, like all of us now, we're like, okay, now we're trying to like break free from some of those false restrictions or false expectations that have been placed upon us. So I definitely take a look at that element too. So sending you love. I know that's not the easiest thing, but hopefully that can help give you some hope and some direction to maybe lean into and see how it helps. So love it. Okay, let's see here. Okay, we're going to touch on the last one today. How can I get motivated to take care of myself? Okay, so let me look at the energy of that, but there's also something else I'll share on this too. Okay, so I definitely see like you've got some very beautiful, lovely intentions. You love to, it's like I'm seeing just this ability to think of others and to want to help them and to serve them and love on them. So I see a lot of the focus going to others, like, hey, I want to take care of them and take care of them. But then the focus doesn't come back to you. I also see that maybe you've been trying to figure that out for a while. Like, how do I take care of myself? How do I like myself more, take care of myself? I see that question that you've been asking yourself, and that you've been trying several things. And I can just only share like some of the things that have helped me, because I definitely relate to this question. It was a journey and a process for me to learn how to try to take care of myself as well. And actually, there's 3 things. Hold on a second. I gotta hurry and write them down before I forget them. Dang it, I think I forgot the 3rd one already. All right. Okay. Well, one of the first things is or this experience that I had, it was like I was feeling really depleted. I actually was saying yes to I said yes to a bunch of things on my schedule on a day that I was going to take care of myself. And instead I didn't. I said yes to a lot of other people's things. And then it left me no time. And I was just feeling that depletion and just being like, here I did it again. I didn't take care of myself. And I was just driving home, and it was like I almost heard my inner voice speak to me. And it said, if you don't take care of me, who will? And it was just like that question, like, oh, ow. And this, like, that whole thing applies to everything. Like, if you don't treat me well, who will? If you don't take care of me, who will? Like, we are the ones that set the stage and set the, like, how other people are going to treat us, how, like, we're the ones that decide and almost set out the, I don't want to say the expectations, but yeah, in a way it's like, here's what is required for my ultimate happiness, right? There's certain things like I gotta eat food every day, I gotta sleep every day. Well, there's things that our soul requires, and in fact I call this your soul food. Like, there's nutritional pieces of that your soul requires, and it's up to you to figure out what those things are. So maybe ask yourself, what is my soul food? What makes my soul feel nourished and fed? What makes it feel alive? What makes it feel joyful? What makes it like bounce for joy? It can be as easy as like singing karaoke is one of my soul food things because it brings me to life, or dancing in the kitchen, or it could be reading a book, or it could be taking some alone time, taking a nap. Like, I mean, some of those things are my soul food. And so I just have this list. And well, now I kind of got it in my head and I can kind of navigate that, but like start figuring out, asking yourself, what's your soul food? What makes you feel taken care of? And then to remember that, like, if you don't set that, if you don't do it, no one else will. And then also, oh, here's the other thing I was thinking of too. And so this is the second little piece that I've learned that hopefully it can help you as well. And this is to start to take care of someone else the way that you would take care of someone else. Like, if it's easy to serve others, let's say you've got a child or a loved one or a parent or someone that you spouse or someone that it's easy for you to serve, and you don't even have to think twice about it. You're like, oh, let me take care of you. Like, yeah, oh, you want this? Like, here, let me help you. You got to serve yourself just like you love others. And in fact, if you don't, then you that whole commandment, right? Love God, the top 2 commandments, love God, love others as yourself. If you're not loving yourself, then you're limiting how much you can love God and love others as well. Like, it's like the love goes through all of them in order to get it to be at your maximum capacity for loving and serving. Okay. So that's the second thing. And then the third thing that I want to say, and this is kind of tricky, is sometimes we wait to be motivated. Like, the question here is, how can I be motivated? Sometimes we're not motivated. Sometimes things can just suck, like not be easy at all. But this is where the power of choice comes in. You have the ability to choose. You've been gifted agency and you can choose. So I've been working out and getting up at 5:30 in the morning every day to work out. And those who know me, this is like a rare feat in my life because I am a night person. And mornings I'm usually groggy and don't fully wake up till 9 or 10 in the morning. So people I'm telling that I've been doing this for months, they're like, oh, Martina, are you doing this? But it comes down to a solid choice. And it's not like sometimes you're like, well, just choose to do it and make it sound easy. No, sometimes choices are hard. Like it's like sometimes they're easier. And the more that you do it, it becomes easier. But sometimes it's just choosing it and being like, because I love you, because I love myself, I'm choosing it. And I'm not going to be motivated. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be super fun, but I'm going to choose it anyway. And then once I choose it, then it's usually easier. Then I find my gratitude. An hour later, I'm like, yes, I did my workout. I start feeling better. I do supportive things. And here's the other thing too, is I do supportive things to help me choose it. Like throwing on the first thing, I keep my headphones right next to my bed. So when my alarm goes off, I put on my AirPods and I can listen to a song, a music choice that's like giving me strength and courage to do something. So it's not necessarily motivation, like making it happy and easy, but it's giving me just the strength to choose to get out of bed. The other supportive things I do, I lay out my clothes ahead of time in the bathroom. So my shoes, my socks, if I have to work hard to find what I'm going to wear in the morning, I won't do it. I'll go back to bed. So I lay out my clothes the night before. So that's another supportive thing to make choosing easier. Sometimes I have my son go with me. So if I make that commitment to go with somebody else, making the choices easier. So finding ways to support your choices, even when the motivation is not there, would be my third little piece. So sending love to you on that, and let me know. Again, I love to hear, let me know how it resonates, you guys, because I love to hear, I love to serve, and I love to hear what things you guys figure out, because at the end of the day, you guys are your own expert and your own guru. So I love to hear what things you guys discover. So, all right, you guys, thank you. Oh, I love some of these comments coming in. Yes, Sharon, we are breaking away. Thank you. Thanks for being here. I love having you guys here. I know I didn't get to a couple of them, or one. I think I didn't get to the last one. That's the last one I can do today, because I do have to go get my son. So I love to hear it. Thank you, Bonnie Lee, for giving me that feedback. Yes, good. And Jennifer, thank you. It is helpful stuff today. So I appreciate, and isn't it so true? Like, thank you guys for being courageous. Thank you for everyone asking a question, because when you ask a question, like, I guarantee, like, I don't think it's ever happened where the question doesn't help somebody else. It's part of like some kind of cool divine law that when it's like helping others, helping yourself, like we just all are connected. We all can relate. And so it helps all of us. And I guess is gratitude. Thank you for being here. And as always, like, please share it with anyone you know. Let's get this message out here in a bigger way. And I will see you tomorrow. So thanks everyone for being here. Bye.